What's up, everyone? And it's like the second episode of our quarantine talks with your TemplateMonster crew. Whatever you're doing, just tune in, and we're gonna talk about some stuff that's gonna boost your productivity in this quarantine period, and whatever. So a lot of us had to switch to remote work. I would say like almost all of us who work in creative industry, in IT industry, who work in tech, and who are actually able to work remotely. We all had to work remotely, and we're actually super lucky that we got this chance that we can continue working just in a little bit different environment, right? So we gotta appreciate that as well, because we're kind of privileged to have this option to actually be able to do that. But still, even though we're super happy to work from home for now, we actually face some sort of issues and problems and troubles with productivity and all this kind of stuff. And we actually talked about this in the previous episode of our quarantine talks. It's already on the channel, by the way, and you can check this out. And we discussed a number of issues. What did we talk about? Because I forgot already, Ira. What were we talking about?
Well, we've been talking about the issues and challenges that people are facing working from home around their family and around their little kids, especially. Also, we talked a little about how you can deal with the anxiety and insecurities about the future. And next, we spoke about how you can actually level up your productivity with these techniques that we've researched for you guys. And you can also check the links to all of these great techniques in the description section for the previous video. So don't forget to do that. And actually, we've been talking a lot about how to arrange your workspace so that you can feel comfortable and separate your living space from your professional space and feel more comfortable working at home. So that was basically it.
Yep,
what we
exactly.
talked about. Yeah.
And in today's episode, we'll continue talking about ways to improve the quality of your life and your work-life balance and the quality of your remote workflow. And what we're talking about specifically is a tool set made of specific tools, specific instruments that most of them are online, right? Most of them are web-based, so it's like you can go to a web page or install a Chrome extension, Chrome extension, and already you already have it, and almost like all of them are free, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, right.
All of them are free, or maybe they have some premium version or whatever, but
like freemium, yeah.
Yeah, but you totally don't have to pay for it to use it. You have the functionality that's in most cases is enough. Maybe for some extended teams, for teams like over like 30 people, over 50 people, it will be, the plan will be different. Maybe you will have to pay some money to use it for such a big team. Maybe there are some limitations to the free version, but at the most part, all of these tools are free for regular users and super, super comfortable to use. And especially, now since we have this situation currently, we can test out these tools and figure out what works best for us as individuals and for our teams, if you're working in a team, or if you're managing a team as a project manager or as like a team lead, whatever. So we actually decided to kind of block them out in the sections. What the sections are?
Well, these sections are actually, the first one is the workflow tools. I call them workflow and teamwork because obviously these are for sharing and collaborating on some tasks. Then goes video calls because, a lot of people are using Skype, but there are plenty of other great tools that actually do the job. So you can use them as well for teams and conferences. Next come time trackers. And I also included some tools that Mac users can use on Mac OS for keeping their productivity. Then come keeping notes because, we have a lot of stuff we need to memorize. And so sometimes it's really important to keep all of that in order. Also, I mentioned a lot of cloud-based software for web designers that they can use, like alternatives to Photoshop and whatnot. Also, file sharing tools.
That was sort of like a plan for today. So let's start discussing. I'm pretty sure that the people who are used to working at the office, having all of your coworkers around and being able to just, get up and walk to their desk and talk to them about whatever, and it's kind of easier to solve any sort of issues, any sort of questions. So how can teams, and maybe not only teams, maybe if you're working by yourself but you have to send something to people occasionally, so how to optimize this sort of workflow being remote?
Well, there are several tools. Like I personally used Trello and I used Slack. And I believe that, Trello is quite simple and it is based on cards. It works like the card principle. And so you can create separate groups of cards and then move the cards from, like the planned tasks and maybe tasks in progress and done tasks. So for everyone, the list can be like their project specific, but in general, it's very important and it's very convenient to track tasks if you move them, like those cards, to different boards. So, personally for me, this has been useful. And as for Slack, I know that Slack has a lot of extra functionality apart from like productivity functionality. It also allows making calls, and it has a lot of like groups for teamwork. So the spectrum of features is pretty vast. So I believe that it depends on like any kind of project that's using its productivity app. But for me, like those two are the go-to tools for keeping the workflow in order and making the teamwork organized. What do you think about them? Have you used any of them?
Okay, as far as I know, that Slack is it has limited functionality for the free version has some limitations. For small teams, is great. You can use it for free, absolutely. And it's pretty a good choice if you have a small team and you don't tax that much, because as far as I'm aware, you cannot scroll back up and see the infinite number of your previous messages, like from a year ago, something like that. So it's not really good. So if you're really texting a lot, maybe it's not the best option for you. If you have a big team you have to share a lot of data, then there is a the paid version of Slack. Also, there is Microsoft Teams, which seems to be like the biggest competitor of Slack. It's like a Skype, like a premium version of Skype, if you could imagine it.
I can't, honestly.
So Skype is already premium enough for you, right? Even the free version.
Yeah.
Okay. And as for Trello, definitely the fans of Kanban will love it. And somebody who's used to working in Jira, those boards in Jira, the same thing, like literally the same thing. They look the same and they feel the same. You just you assign the task to a person, and then you kind of track the progress of the task. Yeah. Pretty simple. And what are other tools that are in the list?
Front, Flip, Flowdoc, Workplace. But Workplace is a tool by Facebook. And,
is that good? Is that good or bad?
Well, I'm not sure because I haven't tried it.
Front is for Teams as well. Is for emails. Is for sharing emails mailing. For teams and customers, like to help you manage your mail for your business. Also, Flip is a sort of it's an app. It can be downloaded. Well, it's pretty like a must. I would say
like a messenger.
Like a must that your app has your web app also has a version for your phone, like for Android and for iOS, because so you always can kind of connect to your team at any time. Like even if you went out for a second, but you get a message and you can reply if it's something urgent. Well, a lot of these do look like Slack.
Yeah.
Because they're all about the same thing, pretty much. And you can try them out and see what works best for you. And what I mean is that there are subtle differences between them, and you really have to read into, all the details of the process and all the details of the plans that are provided by these apps. But another thing I wanted to mention, another tool that I've found really, really, really awesome, that I liked because it was something different that I haven't seen anywhere just yet. And I've heard that there are some alternatives to this app already. And maybe there were before, but I just wasn't aware of them. But the app is called Notion, and maybe you've heard of it. A ton of people on YouTube have been talking about it, like really.
Yeah, I've heard of it as well, but never use it.
Yeah, but a lot of people have been talking about it and are really excited about it, or maybe just very, very clever influencer marketing. I don't know. But it definitely worked for me, and I tried it, and so this one, the Notion app was actually perfect, so I could stack everything in there, all my guitar tabs, all my content plan ideas, all the stuff like a to-do list, and it also can share it, so it can be shared between different team members, so you all can access the same document. It's like an advanced version of Google Docs merged with Google Keep, and you can embed images, and super convenient, super fast, and it's web-based. It can be downloaded as a client, like as an app on your machine, like Windows or Mac, and it also can be downloaded as an app on your phone. So kind of a minute of promotion. We gotta get paid for this. I just did like 5 minutes of talking about this app like for free. Come on.
Actually, by listening to you, I wanted to ask a question like, is it similar to Evernote? Because I've been using Evernote, and it also offers like a lot of functions similar to what you've described, but also you can actually use it to share like bits of web pages. For instance, if you're Googling something and you really like this kind of picture, or I don't know, this separate paragraph of text with the picture, so you can just clip it. And what else it can do, it actually is very convenient for keeping notes, and so I've been using it for quite some time, but I'm not very organized as well, so I keep forgetting about all of the notes that I make, and sometimes I go back there and just get so super surprised that oh man, I really saved those kinds of things there. So it's cool that you actually have these kind of apps to store all of the important information that you need. And speaking of Google Docs, it's also completely free, so you can actually use it for different types of tasks. And not only like these are not only similar to those Microsoft tools like Word and Excel, but they can also do a ton of other things for you, and they're cloud-based, so you never lose your documents, even if you really want to.
Well, sometimes you do want to lose your documents. You do want to lose access to everything. But we'll be talking about keeping notes a little bit later. And sorry, it's my bad. I kind of jumped to a completely different space. So the next we'll be talking about is video calls. Some of the people I know, especially within our company, some of our managers, they video conference a lot. They have like a ton of video calls, like almost every single day, like talking about whoever knows about what they talk about. Like really, I don't know. Maybe
it's a commercial secret,
Yeah, so shouldn't be talking that much about it. So, what apps? There are some pretty, well-known ones like Skype. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard about it. Anyway, video calls. Besides some very well-known ones like Skype, there are also things like they've been becoming more and more popular over the recent couple of weeks. I've heard that like Zoom. I know that people used Zoom before, but since this recent couple of weeks, people started trying out different apps and some other options. Maybe they weren't super satisfied with the quality of the video calls. Maybe I don't know, somewhere on Skype or somewhere in Hangout, somewhere they're used to making video calls by. But they started trying out different things, and a lot of people actually liked Zoom for some reason. I don't know what the reason was, but maybe it's better for them. Definitely. So it has been getting more and more popular, and who knows where it's actually gonna go. And there are also other tools. There are definitely more and more tools.
Telegram.
Yeah, exactly. Telegram, Viber. There's mostly messaging apps.
FaceTime, Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger. You can also kind of do video calls on there. Whereby it's something less popular, right?
Yeah.
You can also do video calls on Slack, Microsoft Teams also, probably. I'm not sure here. But what you should be aware of is that you have to trust this provider, this video call provider, right? Because especially if it's something that you not really but you cannot do video calls.
Personal.
You cannot do video calls on Telegram. On Telegram, it's only voice calls.
Really? Oh.
So misinformation there.
Sorry.
Fake news.
Oh.
Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. You'll be banned on Facebook. Fake news. Spreading fake news. So. Exactly, you gotta try out new things. Don't be afraid of that, but you gotta read something about this provider and get to know if there were any information, any information about them and about their security policy and all that kind of thing, because it's kind of important, a little bit, just a tiny bit important. So the next one, time trackers. First of all, there are two types of time trackers that you might be thinking about. The first one is for individuals who want to track their time for themselves, for their personal information. So they want to know how much work they have done during the day, how much time they spent on a certain task, and all that kind of thing. And I've been using one for a super long time, because it's super valuable insight for you if you want to know. You might not be looking at it all the time, but once there's something comes up that you're really interested to know how much time you spend on it, it's super valuable, especially if this time tracker works in the background, so you don't have to turn it on and off all the time. And for me, the tool of choice was Manic Time. And a funny name, but I'll share the link in the description. It's free, and you can actually download the spreadsheet with all the information at any time. So if you need to share it with your manager, with your boss, with your client, whatever, you can do that. And yes, there's the second type of time trackers that you could use is for your team manager, for your project manager, to give it to their teammates, so they can actually track their time, and they can give some sort of a report on how much work has been done and how long it took to complete a project. And some teams have actually been switching to this type of time tracking. For some reason, maybe they decided that it will be more convenient for them. Actually, I've heard that some people do use Jira. On Jira, you can kind of log your, your task progress and write it from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I was doing this, and from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. I was doing this, this kind of thing. And there are also time trackers that do this automatically. They just record everything you do on your PC and they give you this report with when the computer was, when you weren't working on the PC at all, it kind of turns red. When you were working, it's like this green progress bar, and it gives you the report on which programs were launched, which documents were open in these programs. Like if you're in the browser, it shows you the exact web page on which you were. So probably this information is not for your boss, but for you personally. So yeah, you gotta pick your time tracker wisely so you don't spill the extra info to your manager, which you don't want them to see. So what apps do you recommend?
Well, I found this cool app called Hours Tracker, and it sort of does similar things to the Manic Time you've talked about. Work, you can track your earnings for specific amount of time that you spend on a task. For instance, if you set like the rate, the hourly rate, then it can accumulate like your earnings. It also groups your time and earnings by day, week, and month. So it has like periods of time. Also, you can organize some of the tasks that you've done by using tags, and you can collaborate, you can share. So it's kind of handy. But actually, I may be pretty lucky because I've never experienced like this severe time tracking in my office. So I'm not really intending, for now, to use these types of programs and these types of tools and apps. And maybe I should rather use Pomodoro Tracker for tracking my personal productivity. So I believe for me, this is more relevant currently, like in this situation.
Yeah, but still, there are many people who kind of feel more productive where they can, for many people, this can actually be some very useful info. So if they feel, sometimes you feel like you're super productive during the day, but then you open the time tracker and you see that you spent 3 hours chatting on Facebook, 2 hours sitting on Twitter, and 3 hours, talking to your friend on Skype. And then you realize that, okay, all of these hours, they went nowhere and I haven't completed any work. So this is why it's sometimes super helpful to try and install this kind of time tracker for a couple days just to see if you're actually being productive or not, especially now when we're all remote and there are so many distractions and so many very attractive things besides work.
I found a tool for Mac users that helps you resist the urge to go on social media and get distracted. It's called Self-Control, and it's free for Mac OS. And so what it does, it actually blocks all of the websites that you think will be distracting you.
This is harsh. This is really harsh.
For a given period of time. So you can actually like set your work time. I mean, from, for instance, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. whatever. And so it blocks all of these websites for a given period of time, and you cannot enter them. And so no distractions.
Well,
just
really,
work.
You do need this app. If you have no self-control, then yes. But there's another problem. Your phone. Then you have to install the same thing on your phone because, Instagram notifications, all that kind of thing. Also,
exactly.
an app that I've heard a lot of people use I've heard about it multiple times. It's called Toggle. And I haven't tried it myself, and it's kind of similar to all the rest of things like Hours Tracker app. I read like house. Who wants to track their house?
I don't know.
Hours Tracker app and like something like Toggle, but it's a little bit different. It's pretty convenient, and you gotta try this out as well. And there are a lot of benefits. It's a little bit different from those that we've talked about. It's a little bit different from Time and all that kind of thing, but the concept is pretty much the same. So it helps you track your time and get your get to know how fast your tasks are getting done. Okay, next section will be for Mac users. There are also
I've named one. So this is Self-Control app, and there are two other apps. The first one is Itzical. It integrates your calendar and reminders, and you can modify the notifications. So it kind of reminds you of the important stuff that you can keep forgetting about. So it's like a small app that's integrated into your operating system. And so the other one is freemium. It's called Papier, but for some reason it's listed all over the internet as one of the best productivity tools for Mac users. And so it's like a flexible note-taking app that works similarly to Evernote, I believe, and it also allows you saving all of these bits of information that you collect while you're web browsing or working, and just keeping it all in one place. So that's for Mac users. The next block of tools is keeping notes. So we're kind of approaching it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we've listed Notion and Evernote, but we've already spoken about them. So let's talk a bit about Google Keep, because you've mentioned...
Yeah. Oh, you have a cat.
Yeah,
it's gone.
I do have a cat.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Okay, he can be a participant of our conversation here. Anyway, yes, yeah. I mentioned Google Keep while we were preparing the notes for this talk, for this conversation, and because I've used it for a while and I find it pretty comfortable. I find it comfortable, the syncing option, so we can sync if you're logged in your Google account. Your cat is there again.
Yes.
You're logged in your account. And you can, all the notes, they just simply sync automatically, and you can access all the same notes from different devices. Like if you're on your PC, on your laptop, on your phone, it's all in the same place, and it's in the format of cards. So if you remember Pinterest, your board will look pretty much like Pinterest after a while, if you've been using Google Keep for a while. And been pretty comfortable for me. You can store images, links, to-do lists, all sorts of stuff. You can categorize things. You can put tags on the specific cards. So pretty convenient. You gotta try it out and see if it fits for you. But I've been using it, been pretty satisfied, but I'm sure there are options that are better or worse for other people. So you mentioned some app that was not like a separate standalone app, but rather a Chrome extension. What is that?
Well, it's called Papier. I believe it's pronounced like this. And it's some sort of a notepad that's integrated into a web browser. So you can actually use some formatting even. It has like some basic formatting like bold and italic. You can save links there and different textual information that you can find online. And so it's handy because it's integrated in your Chrome browser, and you can just switch to this browser window that Papier is and just save whatever you need there. So it's very simple, but it's handy because, sometimes, I tend to Google a lot for our videos, as you know, and sometimes I may lose the links and, can't find them in my browsing history because I sometimes need to use the incognito windows. And so
you're sharing too much personal information stuff.
Okay, so whatever. It just helps me save all of these important stuff.
Yeah, but if you tend to open millions of tabs in your browser window, then this is not for you. And I'm one of those people, and I have to use... Yes, and it happened multiple times on the live stream when I actually had to use this extension for Chrome that I discovered when I was looking for a way to make Chrome drain less RAM power from my machine, and it was a tab suspender, and it actually snoozes some tabs that you're not using. Like, you can set the time limit. You can set the time limit like 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and kind of snoozes them. It doesn't close them. Maybe there's an app which closes the tabs which you haven't opened in like 3 days. But anyway, it kind of snoozes them, and they're not draining the RAM from your machine. So it kind of doesn't get that slow. Because you feel like you open millions of tabs, and you feel like you need all of them at the same time. So this is, I know this is a disaster sometimes, especially when you need to find something and you have all of this line above, like the window filled with tabs, these tiny icons, this kind of thing. All right, now specifically for designers, there's designers who have to work remotely, and luckily for them and for us, there are tools that allow you to do that pretty quickly and pretty problemlessly.
Well,
is there a word?
Cloud-based? I don't know.
Yes, cloud-based software for designers and how they can use it and what it is actually. I know everybody is aware with Figma. It's pretty, in my case, it's like the first thing that pops up. They're doing pretty good at marketing. They're doing pretty well because everybody's aware what it is, how it works, and how I like to put it. I like to compare it to, like, if you remember, Microsoft Office package, not the 365, which is like cloud-based as well, but their normal package, which comes on your PC, and Google Docs. So Microsoft Office, how it was back in the day, and where you had to share the file, and there was no other way. You only had to share this file to another person. And then Google Docs happened, right? And it was like a game changer. Now I don't know, like, almost any of the people that I know, I'm not aware if they're using like Microsoft Office anymore. Because why? Because you don't have this urge to save the document all the time. You can lose the document because it's in the cloud. You can share it in the click of a button. So pretty much the same thing with Figma. If you compare any software which is like a web app and it doesn't have a cloud, so this is like Microsoft Office. And if you take Figma, it's like Google Docs, like all the same thing, but it's in the cloud, which is super awesome. But are there other alternatives to Figma? Maybe if you, as a designer, you've been working with Sketch or with Adobe XD, are there ways to kind of transition to sort of web-based cloud workflow or something like that?
Well, I haven't been working with Sketch, but I know that a lot of these apps have integrations, and they like file integrations, and they have like collaboration options. So you can actually share some projects with other team members, that's for sure. And that is convenient, especially if, as all of these apps, like almost all of these apps that you've mentioned, are actually on subscription, like they're subscription based, most of them, for bigger teams. So they have this option of collaboration within the teams. But Figma is free. InVision app actually has one active prototype for free, so you can have a free sign up if you're working on one active project and share it with somebody. But their free functionality is limited. Adobe XD is free. It has like 2 gigabytes of cloud storage, so you can actually use it somewhat similarly to the Google Docs. And I also found this app. It's not exactly like cloud-based, I believe, but it's just a cool app for designers that maybe you've heard of. It's called Adobe Capture, and it helps you capture all of these forms and patterns and colors that you see in real life. So for instance, you can take a picture of something like fabric or some sort of, I don't know, clay, and it will analyze it and like process it and give you the palette or the type of fabric it's made of, or the font that it used in a specific like magazine or something. So it's for free, and you can also test it. And as for the Photoshop analogs that I found, these are quite similar, and I know that you've used Photopea
yes,
for one of
I
our
did.
tutorials
Yeah.
Previously. And there's also Pixlr, which is very similar to Photoshop. And so these are basically the web-based tools that designers can use if they don't have a Photoshop subscription. So
and let's say maybe, I don't know, you just need well, in my case, why I wanted to use Photopea or this kind of app, because if you want to complete one simple task, why do you need to install a separate app and pay for it for one simple task, as simple as like cutting out an image, like, or changing some filters on your image? I know there are a number of other things that do that, like what's that called, Canva, something like that. There are other alternatives. I'm not really familiar with them, but they don't give you many options as they're available in Photoshop. But luckily there are these tools. They're online. They're completely free. You can use all the functionality for free. Of course, given that it's a web-based app, sometimes it might be pretty laggy, and while opening large documents, things might crash, so just be prepared for that. But if you just need to cut out, like make a rectangular photo circular, then it's the perfect app for that, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I actually used Canva, and it's like you said, pretty convenient for fulfilling like simple one-time tasks, and it also has a lot of templates for social media, for instance, so you can make like Instagram stories and Instagram posts in it using the
Okay, stop
templates.
promoting Canva. We actually have Instagram stories in our marketplace. Let's better promote that. So what do we have on our marketplace?
Well, we have lots of cool stuff like prototypes, illustrations, even After Effects videos, and what are templates. But you're familiar with those better than me, for sure. So yeah, we have lots of great.
So yeah, we do. And if you guys are interested, we're gonna share a couple links. If we started talking about Instagram stories, Instagram posts, we have like sort of bundles for social media marketing, for Facebook, for Instagram. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, in templates, if you have a ton of orders, ton of clients coming in with this sort of request, and you kind of need to get things wrapped up pretty quickly, so you can make use of some good templates. So consider checking those out, and we're gonna put, since we already mentioned them like by lucky accident, we're gonna put the links in the description for you guys to check them out. And let us know what you think of them, and maybe if you want to see some specific type of content on a type of product on our marketplace, we're always open to any suggestions and any comments.
Yeah.
And the last section for this video will be what will be file sharing. And everybody, I'm pretty sure that, we were using file sharing long before we transitioned to remote workflow, but still, maybe this time we'll need some more advanced functionality. So what can you suggest?
Well, Google Drive with its 15 gigabytes of file storage is
free, for free file storage.
Absolutely for free. It's like a lifesaver. Dropbox has, I guess, how much? Like 2, or it's not that big. Like I don't remember because I don't use Dropbox that often, but I have actually a profile on Dropbox, so sometimes I use it for file exchange, like occasionally. But there's also this app called Send Anywhere, which actually doesn't really need a sign up, so you can just upload your files and send the key to retrieve this file, like for your client or your co-workers, so that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it actually, if I'm not mistaken, it allows you to encrypt or sort of like password protect your files. Yeah. So you so the person who accidentally gets this link, they will not be able to open it unless they have a password. So this is how you do it. You upload the file, and you check the box like password protect, and you also share the password to the person who is the recipient, who is meant to actually get this file, and they also share the password, and only with the password they'll be able to open it. And of course, while sharing files, and if you are sharing or storing some of your files, and these files, you actually do care about the privacy of these files and the security of these files, you better check everything about this provider that you are switching to, everything about this file sharing service. And if it's super important to you, sometimes it's a lot better and it's a lot better decision if you pay for the service, because it kind of gives you this extra level of security and extra level of safety, even if, for example, if the service closes down. If it's free, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you. They can
just delete the files.
They can delete everything and not even notify you via your email, because I don't know, because for whatever reasons. But if you pay the service, they kind of have no rights to do that, right?
I actually had an experience like this. There's this file sharing app called Mega, I guess.
Oh yes, they closed down.
Yeah, they closed down and they actually deleted all of my files that I
Yep.
kept there. So I was really disappointed because I couldn't retrieve the
Mm-hmm.
files that I kept there. And that was like a lesson learned.
Mm-hmm.
That I
That's what I'm
needed to
talking
back up.
about. Because if you Google free file transfer files or free cloud storage services, you're gonna find a ton of them. But who knows if these file transfer file storage services will be around next month or next year when you will need those files back. So yeah, you better check everything about the service and better pay them extra dollar if you really value the files you're sharing with them. I've also used, but there are often these processes where, especially in the creative field, like designers, video creators, animators, motion designers, hey there, and we constantly need to share files back and forth with our teammates, with our clients, and what we got to do is just send them the file and forget about it. We send the file, they grab the file, and we don't really need this file hanging there in the storage. So for these type of tasks, there's services like WeTransfer that what I've used.
Yeah.
So it's super quick. You don't need to sign up. You just drop the file in there, and there are multiple ways you can share it. You can either share it via link, via email, and also some third option, which I forgot what it was. And I'm not even sure there was a third option, but anyway, you got this.
Yeah, I haven't used it, so I'm not sure.
For this quick file exchange processes, file exchange tasks, it's perfect because it doesn't require like long sign up process. It doesn't store the files. I don't really need that file, so please delete it. So this is why it's super convenient for this kind of purpose. And what about Box? What is that?
Box, it's like an app for team collaboration, and so it allows you to secure your files, but I'm not really sure if it's completely free or if it's just like freemium, because
it doesn't seem like it's free, because once you go to pricing, you kind of see.
Okay, yeah, sure. But did they just hit the price?
Oh no,
okay.
hold on. Individual plans. They have individual plans, which are free, starting from 10 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can actually use it for your purposes, and for business, of course. They have a vast subscription plan selection, so I guess it's convenient for both individuals and companies.
Okay,
I guess that's it.
I believe we discussed everything what we were going to, and probably even more than that. We kind of been drifting away from the topic a little bit, as always. Anyways, this is pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm pretty sure that you have a lot more tools and a lot more services, websites, and apps to suggest. And if you do have any recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comment section. We'll be happy to check them out, and just let us know if you have any other ideas. And also check out our channel and what we have there as well, because as we mentioned in the beginning of the video, we've been talking about remote work on the channel before, and will be there are also a couple videos to come out on our channel, and one more will be about how the internet is actually coping with this remote work thing, and big brands and smaller brands, what they're doing, and how this entire community, this tech community, is changing actually. And also there will be a number of talks with the industry experts who will be giving advice and recommendations to the creative professionals, to designers and small design studios, and maybe freelancers and individuals who work in the IT industry as creating websites, creating applications, creating phone applications, and what can those professionals do during such a tough period of time. Tough for everyone, for us as creatives, for our clients, for businesses that we serve, that we provide our services to. and how to actually try and stay in balance during this period of time. This we'll be talking about with the experts and coming on the channel in the nearest weeks, which still be relevant for many of us. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and see you soon.